identity, and they started passing these years ago. The church has never got involved in it. You know, nobody said that this is a big problem. It's only suddenly when it gets to the church door that suddenly they're saying, oh, well, by the way, there's a problem here with religion. And so 4 churches announced that they're going to take it to court, and I think they're going to lose. The public accommodations law says that any place where that welcomes the public has something, is under them, and nobody's ever said anything about it until 10 minutes ago. And I think that this is the problem with our movement. We've seen a lot of bad stuff happen recently. We've seen bakers, be arrested and have to pay horrible fines. We've seen schools forced to have gay clubs, anti-religious kinds of things. We've seen the Obama administration push the transgender agenda in schools and the military and everywhere else. A friend of mine that many of you may know, Pastor Klingenschmidt, was a chaplain in the Navy, and he was pretty much thrown out for wanting to pray in Jesus' name. There's been a situation recently in West Point where they wouldn't allow people to pray using Jesus. There's been the Hobby Lobby incident, the Little Sisters of the Poor. The state of Massachusetts screens out religious parents from being foster parents or adoptive parents. The police chief in Atlanta police or fire chief, fired over gay marriage writings. Someone here, one of the speakers mentioned that in Georgia, a pastor was fired as a state employee because of some sermons that he had made at his church that were broadcast on YouTube that weren't politically correct. We all know what happened here in Houston with the Houston Five. Professor Robert Oscar Lopez was hounded out of his professorship in California and is now here over his religious beliefs. He's, by the way, now the head of our Texas chapter in Fort Worth. He's documented hundreds of these kinds of cases of religious persecution. And now, the latest thing, I guess it was yesterday, Obama's threatening to veto a military bill because it has a religious clause in it that would protect religious belief. One of the things that people don't seem to, our side doesn't seem to internalize is this isn't just a battle over issues. These people hate us. They hate us with a passion, and not just the leaders. When you talk to regular liberals and the subject comes up, the emotion, the vitriol inside of them is palpable. They see religion and family as an obstacle to progress, and it drives them crazy. We all saw the situation in Indiana and North Carolina and other states when they would pass these mundane religious freedom bills, and these corporations would come up with this completely out of proportion. If you do this, we will move out of your state. Kinds of things. Governor Pence of Indiana felt that he had to repeal this modest little bill because corporate America descended upon him. You will not have this religious belief in your state. Completely and utterly out of proportion of anything. We better get the message here because it's going to get a lot worse. These people know no boundaries, they know no rules. The kinds of things we saw in the WikiLeaks thing from Hillary Clinton, where Orthodox Christianity and Catholicism is seen as destructive and backwards and must be changed by subversion and force if necessary. where they're actually talking about doing that. The O'Keefe videos, which shows that the left is willing to destroy us physically with violence if they, you know. I don't think we take that kind of stuff, our side takes it seriously. You know, simply going and trying to go to a court case on these things, it's not going to work. And, you know, one of the reasons I get so worked up about this is, you know, being Jewish, I have a personal, you know, thing about government declaring that a certain religious belief must be eliminated. We've sort of seen where that leads. And you can sort of see around here what's happening. They're talking about a religious belief of having a right to discriminate. And of course, we answer that by agreeing with them and saying, oh yes, all discrimination is wrong. You know, of course, you know, the anti-discrimination laws were originally, you know, meant to protect blacks. No one ever dreamed that it would be used to protect sexual perversion. It was just, if you had said this, you know, 30 years ago, people would have thought you lost your mind. We, you know, our side, you know, confronts this by not confronting it, by backing down. You know, you know, our leaders lecture us that we must be careful not to be insulting to those people who would destroy us. But it's all right for them to demonize us relentlessly. So, you know, what can we do? Mass resistance has been organizing people around the country and in foreign countries. We are dedicated to winning this. We're not dedicated to simply defending it. And that engenders a whole change in attitude. And we've been nurturing